Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club, and it's the Wes Anderson sessions again, hooray! And this is also Moonrise Kingdom, and I adore this film for ridiculous reasons, irrational reasons, sentimental reasons, lovelorn reasons, childhood reasons, memory reasons. I just adore this film. And so, continuing with the theme of my Wes Anderson films, I'm just going to allow myself the latitude to just read it and just see what comes out at the other end. I'm going to laugh, I'm going to smile, and I'm going to put myself off, and so I'll never read this 100% perfectly. And anyway, I'm just fooling around in front of a video camera. So relax. Open that second bottle of wine, go on. Day drinking, go on, be a devil. Nobody's watching. Just don't masturbate. You'll go blind. Jiminy Cricket! He flew the coop! I adore this film, and it took me a little longer than usual to compose myself back into a normal, rational human being before I could leave the cinema the first time I saw this classic film. What? I had something in my eye. Anyway, here's the beautifully operatic opening 5 minutes of the film, with as much justice as I can possibly muster. The opening credits commence with a loud clap of thunder, and the camera settles on a painted picture of a red-coloured house, before the camera begins one of many majestic sweeps around the house. Firstly, it sweeps to the right and to the top of a flight of stairs, where a young boy is ascending the said stairs and walks past a small model of what appears to be the same red-coloured house. The moving camera continues to sweep into the next room, whereby the young boy now enters that room and opens a record player and sits cross-legged in front of the player and pushes the needle onto the record. It's initially spoken word, but will soon become The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra by Benjamin Britten. A sharp camera move to the right follows, and we see another young boy standing with his hands on his hips, before another young boy peers out from behind the bedroom door. Another sharp camera move to the right follows, and this time we see a young girl descending the outside stairwell before entering the room carrying a kitten and approaching the table ahead. Placing the kitten gently on the table momentarily, she collects the binoculars to the front and centre of the screen, before picking up the kitten again and exiting the screen. She reappears almost instantly in the next frame, entering the bedroom of the boy listening to the music, who has been joined by the other two boys. Every frame has been accompanied by the opening credits of the film, naming both the character names and the actors portraying these roles. As the young girl enters the bedroom, she ignores all three boys sitting on the carpet, and sits in the window seat or window ledge and opens her book, which an extreme close-up confirms is Shelley and the Secret Universe. She reads for a brief moment before putting the book down and drawing back the curtains, and as she does so the music volume is increased dramatically as she peers through her binoculars and through the recently opened curtains. As the young girl does this, the camera zooms quickly back away from the girl, still peering through her binoculars, until the entire red house and surrounding coastline is visible, and the total title slide of Moonrise Kingdom is displayed above the house. The slide itself is purposely old school, the purpose of which will become clearer as we proceed. However, the title slide flashes red in conjunction with a loud clap of thunder overhead. As the opening credits continue to list the coming characters and actors who will fill these roles, the three boys are now framed briefly playing a game on the carpet, before the camera sweeps right to an empty room, with two separate rooms leading from this empty one. The room on the left is occupied by an adult lady painting her nails, and in the adjoining room is an adult male reading a newspaper. The camera continues to sweep to the right, past a bicycle, before stopping in front and centre on the young girl, who is again peering through her binoculars. We, as the audience, never see what she is looking at or watching. We cut to the adult male, now in another spacious room of the house, but still reading the newspaper, lying on a sofa with a bearskin rug in the foreground, before the camera now sweeps to the left and the bottom of the stairs, as one of the boys descends the stairs carrying a model aeroplane and is quickly joined by the other two boys doing likewise. The camera continues to move throughout and sweeps left again, past numerous paintings on the wall and past the adult lady now in the bathroom washing her hair, before the camera stops again on the young girl who is still peering through her binoculars. There is a lifeboat in the background named Summer's End. We cut to the three boys now playing table tennis, and the camera now pans upward past the adult female drying her hair on one floor of the house, and the adult male on another floor still reading the newspaper, as the camera continues to pan in one continual shot upward. As the camera continues panning upward, it follows a ladder upward to the top deck of the house, and again the young girl is front and centre, peering through her binoculars. We quickly cut to the three boys now eating in another spacious room of the house, surrounded by numerous paintings on the wall, before the camera pans back through the house, past the adult male drinking wine and reading the newspaper, the adult lady smoking and filing her nails whilst leaning against the doorframe of another room, until the camera finally settles on the young lady, who is still peering through her binoculars. The dislocation of the family is clearly now set, as after the smooth camera pan through the house, we see the three boys separately in one room, the father on his own in the next room, similarly the mother in the next room, and finally the young lady in yet another separate room, and still peering through her binoculars. We cut to the young girl now leaving the house and approaching the mailbox. Taking out the contents, we cut to the first of many Wes Anderson staples, an extreme close-up of a letter addressed to the young girl in question, namely Susie Bishop, and the sender Sam Shakusky. We cut to Susie walking and reading her letter from Sam, the camera following her in a sweeping motion to the right, before she sits at the school bus stop to continue reading. As the continuing music reaches a loud crescendo, Susie, in another Wes Anderson hallmark, stares directly and unemotionally at the camera lens before securing the letter in a box marked private and walking off camera to the left. We cut to one of the three young boys sitting cross-legged on the carpet as he lifts the needle from the record player and the music ends. We now cut to a narration from actor Bob Balaban, in the style only Wes Anderson could pull off, not in the normal style of film narration, but straight to camera, with Bob front and centre. After a brief slide depicting the map of New Penzance Island, we cut to a straight to camera narration from Bob Balaban, and through the next 8 quick cuts, we see and hear Bob describe the island's history, background and geography, and as you'd expect from such a narration, it's pure Wes Anderson, and with tongue firmly in cheek, it's also bizarrely surreal. However, the year is 1965. We are on the far edge of Black Beacon Sound, famous for the ferocious and well-documented storm which will strike from the east on the 5th of September. The love-struck young lovers in this wonderfully quirky tale are Susie, Cara Haywood, and Sam, Jared Gilman, who both portray their individual roles superbly in their first major cinematic outings. Susie has already been partially introduced above, but it quickly becomes established that she hides behind her binoculars as she believes them to be her magic power, as she so often finds in the novels she voraciously reads and metaphorically as well as physically hides behind. Susie is deeply depressed and estranged from her parents and her siblings as they all rattle around in their sumptuous beachside house, trying desperately to avoid each other and their individual issues and foibles. Unable to make lasting friendships either at home or at school, she retreats further and further behind her binoculars and books as this secretive world seemingly protects her from the awkward, distanced and cold relationship she endures from her parents. Susie is an outsider in a world she despises, until that is, she finds her soulmate in Sam, who too is an outsider, but a young boy who acts far older than his tender years. Emotionally disturbed and unable to make lasting friendships too, Sam is an orphan who since the death of his parents has lived in a variety of children's homes and foster homes, bouncing around in a system, unable to appreciate his talents as a scout or his accomplishments as a young painter. Where Susie is volatile and temperamental, Sam is stoic, pragmatic and a budding old-fashioned young gentleman in the making. Together they found the love of their young lives, but more than that, simply someone who likes them for who they are, someone who will listen and not judge them, and someone seeking an escape from their lives and for thrills and an adventure. Sam may have found his muse, and Susie may well have found the orphan hero she so often reads about in her novels. The young couple share so many scenes that have been touched and perfected through the surreal lens of the camera of Wes Anderson, with their letters back and forth displaying the director at his supreme best, as he weaves flashbacks with visceral intensity and superb editing mixed with a hard edge of surrealism. This Is Our Land is a joyously uplifting scene of young love experiencing unrestrained adventure and joy. And if you fail to smile broadly as they awkwardly try to seduce each other during their comical dance on the beach, you've clearly missed the point. That scene in particular encapsulates their young love perfectly. It's honest, innocent, exploratory, the thrill of their young lives, and absolutely bloody hysterical. In support of our intrepid is a stellar cast portraying some truly inventive characters with aplomb, love and admiration for the characters themselves, and always with one eye towards the surreal. Bill Murray epitomises this as Mr. Bishop, a deeply depressed lawyer who's estranged from his wife, his children and from life completely. However, his performance is pitch perfect and he delivers some of the best comedic acting, coupled with many of the standout lines from the film. Half dressed with a bottle of wine in one hand and an axe in the other, he strolls past his three boys sitting on the floor with a brilliantly deadpan, "I'll be out back. I'm going to find a tree to chop down," with assured comic timing and without a shred of emotion, which is more than can be said of his unrestrained anger towards the Scoutmaster for not controlling his charges before throwing his shoes at him. It's one of many umpteen standout scenes in this gem of a film, and set against the backdrop of a police station pontoon. Frances McDormand portrays Mrs. Bishop, a dowdy-dressed, megaphone-using wife of Mr. Bishop, a fellow lawyer, and mother of the 4 children. Both are distanced from each other as well as their children, and in today's vernacular, they are literally dead inside. Perhaps the most impressive performance and a real return to form comes from a personal lifetime favourite actor of mine, Step Forward Bruce Willis, as Captain Sharp, the island's police chief. Relaxed and untroubled, however, he quickly becomes embroiled in the search of our 2 young fugitives, and slowly through a character arc and a nuanced portrayal transforms into arguably the heartbeat of the film, with his brief dinner scene with Sam in the second half of the film deeply affecting, touching and poignant. Willis's role contains very little comedy, and neither does Tilda Swinton's brief cameo as social services. However, the comedy arrives in spades from many other characters, and none more so than Edward Norton's bizarre portrayal of Scoutmaster Ward. Norton's role in particular also showcases everything that is so adorable for the film as a whole, from the fantastic screenplay, comedic touches, and engaging narrative, wonderful individualistic acting performances, and touches of genius from the director. From his cigarette dangling entrance to the film, Norton is superb as the ultra-serious, yet flawed scoutmaster, yet we follow him through the latrine and the treehouse inspections, the inside-out camera angle as he peers into Sam's empty tent, and his resignation letter, his careful study of the Scoutmaster-in-Chief newsletter, through to his heartfelt congratulations to Sam for his outstanding beachside camp. Norton, as his fans have come to expect, is wonderful throughout. Two further comedic roles are worthy of note. Firstly, Harvey Keitel portrays Commander Pierce, with tongue firmly in cheek, but returning Jason Schwartzman is flat out brilliant as the scatty and bizarre Cousin Ben. Dare I say this is a Wes Anderson film for Wes Anderson fans, or will I be burned at the stake for stating such heresy? Moonrise Kingdom has damn near everything, albeit without his trademark slow motion ending and the inclusion of a Rolling Stones track, but this tangled bittersweet tale of young love is peppered with deep characters trying to find love, beauty, redemption, or even simply just a friend who will love them for who they really are. The Oscar-nominated screenplay was written by director Anderson and Roman Coppola, and is a real treat to behold, and how Anderson himself wasn't nominated for Best Director, or indeed his editor or director of photography for this masterpiece, only God herself will know. The editing from Andrew Weissblum is the finest yet in a Wes Anderson film, and it has to be to tie the twisted narrative together, and regular director of photography Robert Yeoman again showcases the tight-knit chemistry he shares with the director's vision. Of the scenes not already referenced, look out for Sam and Susie's first meeting in the wheat field before obligatory straight-on extreme close-ups on each. The long-distance shot of their stroll away from the same field, the numerous forest scenes as they make their escape, the beach scenes and particularly the nighttime scenes later in the film. These truly mark the continuing genius of Robert Yeoman. Continuing with the behind-the-scenes crew, Alexandra Desplat was also criminally overlooked at the 2013 Oscars for his beautifully cinematic score that leaned heavily on the works of Benjamin Britten and accompanies the film so well. The film's lean running time of only 94 minutes. Another Wes Anderson trademark is his concise running times. Flashes by in a blur of detailed narrative structure and a flurry of his trademark quirks and touches of split-screen shots, flashbacks, numerous overhead shots, extreme close-ups, and beautifully sublime rolling camera shots. This is Wes Anderson at his very, very best. And if you haven't got a tear in your eye as Susie blows her young lover kiss towards the end of this masterpiece, then you have a heart far harder than mine. And with a couple of stumbles, but who cares, that was Moonrise Kingdom, directed by Wes Anderson. And I adore that film. Far more than those silly words that I've just read to you can possibly convey. Boy, I adore that film. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you haven't masturbated, but I'd certainly hope you've had a glass of wine. Thanks for watching. I'm just larking around in front of a video camera as usual, and I send you peace and solidarity. Thanks very much for watching. Please be careful, everyone out there. This has been Stephen Blackford in a Radiohead t-shirt, reading and writing pointless but heartfelt, spoiler-free film reviews since 2012. Peace, everyone, and please be careful out there.